In a surprise that no one saw coming, except maybe the most eagle-eyed armies, BTS's Jin has officially made his return to the screen as a reporter. And no, this isn't fanfiction or a late April Fool's prank. The worldwide handsome vocalist stepped into the role of a sharp-suited correspondent to deliver the news of the year. BTS FESTA 2025 is happening, and it's unlike anything we've seen before. But as soon as he uttered the words, "This is not an ordinary celebration," something shifted. Fans across the globe felt a lump in their throats. This wasn't just an event announcement. It was a message, a promise, a whisper of reunion. So, what did Jin say that made armies cry? Standing beside fellow BTS member J-Hope, both newly returned from their military service, Jin unveiled the long-awaited details of BTS FESTA 2025 through a video styled like a retro newscast. Their playful banter and signature brotherly warmth masked something deeper, something emotional. When Jin mentioned the title of this year's FESTA, 12 o'clock, fans immediately began theorizing. Why 12? Is it midnight, signaling the start of a new day? Or noon, the brightest point of light? But then, Jin's voice took a softer turn. 12 o'clock is a moment where past and future meet. For us and for ARMY. He looked straight into the camera. That calm, unmistakable gaze that ARMY has missed so much during his service. We've waited for this. You've waited for us. This isn't just a celebration. This is us coming home. And with that, millions of hearts broke and healed all at once. Scheduled for June 13th to 14th at Kintex in Goyang, South Korea, BTS FESTA 2025 will mark the group's 12th anniversary, but more importantly, it will be the first FESTA event in years that includes not just the spirit of the 7 members, but their presence, their voices, their faces, their unity. While all members are still completing their military duties, with Jin and J-Hope recently discharged, it's clear from the video that something major is being planned. Jin hinted at it with a knowing smile. "We can't say everything now, but ARMY, please be ready. The clock is ticking." Those last 4 words, "the clock is ticking," instantly set the fandom into a frenzy. Could it mean a full BTS reunion performance at FESTA? A comeback announcement?
A surprise ôté cette vidéo?
One fan on Twitter wrote, "Jin said this like he knows we're not ready. That alone made me cry." Another posted, 12 o'clock isn't just a time. It's the start of our tomorrow. With them. With BTS. It wasn't just what Jin said, it's how he said it. Dressed in a sleek blazer, hair neatly styled, and speaking in a calm, clear tone, Jin didn't look like a superstar or even a performer. He looked like a messenger. A bridge between BTS and ARMY. And for a fandom that has spent years supporting the boys through every up and down, including the emotional distance of military enlistments, his words felt like the return of a lighthouse in the fog. "We miss you. We know you missed us. That's why this FESTA is different," Jin continued. It was never just about the glitz or the anniversary numbers. This FESTA, he implied, is about reconnection, reflection, renewal. And if that wasn't enough to bring tears, J-Hope's final line sealed the deal. "Let's meet again, with all 7 stars shining together." The video ended not with fanfare, but with a soft chime and the image of a clock hand striking 12. Fans have already begun setting literal countdown timers on their phones, not just for the date of BTS FESTA, but for what many believe could be a full group reunion on the horizon. It's the kind of moment armies have dreamt about since the group began enlisting. And now, with Jin and J-Hope already discharged and the rest to follow soon, that dream feels like it's becoming a reality. In a world still healing, still waiting, BTS FESTA 2025 promises more than just celebration. It promises closure, connection, and a new beginning. What will happen on June 13th to 14th? Will BTS finally stand together on one stage again? Will 12 o'clock mark the start of a new era? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. Jin is back. BTS is coming. And ARMY is ready. Ready to cry. Ready to heal. Ready to stand beside 7 stars. At exactly 12 o'clock, long before Jin uttered those words on screen, The number 12 had already become an unofficial symbol of eternity within the BTS universe. From their debut on June 13th, 2013, to this very moment, 12 years later, BTS and ARMY have grown together, cried together, and waited together. Now, at exactly 12 o'clock, they're preparing to reunite under one sky. But Jin's simple, heartfelt statement did more than confirm the theme of BTS FESTA 2025. It reawakened something in the hearts of fans, a promise long kept in silence. We've always said, even if we're apart, our hearts are together, he said, his voice slightly wavering with emotion. But now, soon, we'll be together for real. That final line?
It didn't just land, it shattered.
The silent countdown. What armies have been holding in? For 2 long years, the BTS fandom has operated in a bittersweet rhythm. Birthdays were celebrated with archived footage. FESTA events carried a tinge of nostalgia. Letters and live streams became lifelines between fans and their idols. Military enlistment, while understood, carved out an ache in ARMY's collective heart. Jin's return not only marked the end of that ache, it became a signal of rebirth. Fans didn't just cry because he was back. They cried because he remembered everything. He remembered the waiting. He remembered the letters. He remembered them. To those who kept waiting, I saw your messages. I felt your hearts. I never forgot. Imagine holding your breath for years and finally exhaling. The unexpected emotion of seeing Jin as a reporter. There was something incredibly surreal, even poetic, about watching Jin take on the role of a newscaster. For a moment, he wasn't a performer or an idol. He was a storyteller, a messenger of something sacred. Fans watched in awe as he stood confidently in front of the camera, delivering BTS FESTA 2025's announcement like a seasoned anchor. But beneath the humor, the polished visuals, and the playful skit with J-Hope, there was a depth only ARMY could recognize. Jin's eyes sparkled, not just with joy, but with knowing, as if he was seeing ARMY again after a long journey home. That eye contact, that unwavering gaze through the lens, it was more than production. It was intimacy. One fan shared online, "I don't know how to explain it, but when Jin looked at the camera and said, 'This isn't just a celebration,' I started crying before I understood why. It felt like he was talking directly to me." Perhaps the most poignant moment of all came near the end of the broadcast, when Jin closed the segment with an emotional message. We know this FESTA comes after years of distance, of longing. We know how patient you've been. So this time, it's not just about what we'll do. It's about what we feel. About what you feel. That line, what you feel, echoed across oceans, screens, and timelines. Because BTS has always been more than music. They've been comfort, reflection,
Love.
and this FESTA, they're choosing to honor not just their own journey, but the emotional journey of every single fan who never stopped believing in them. So now the world watches, listens, waits. ARMYs are marking their calendars not just for a date, but for a moment in time. June 13th to 14th. Kintex, Goyang, South Korea.
12 o'clock.
No one knows exactly what will happen, but maybe that's the beauty of it. Because when Jin looked into the camera and whispered, "We'll see you there," he wasn't just inviting fans to a festival. He was calling them home. In the end, it's not just about a celebration, a comeback, or an anniversary. It's about the invisible thread that ties 7 artists and millions of fans across time, across language, and across the silence of waiting. BTS FESTA 2025 isn't just a date on the calendar. It's a heartbeat, a reunion, a resurrection of dreams. And Jin? He's not just a reporter. He's a messenger of hope. So, if you're wondering why fans are crying, why social media is flooded with purple hearts, why the world suddenly feels like it's turning toward the light, it's because somewhere out there, the clock just struck 12, and BTS is coming home. From Seoul to Sao Paulo, Tokyo to Toronto, the global heartbeat of ARMY didn't skip a single beat. As Jin's reporter broadcast for BTS FESTA 2025 went live, Fans worldwide tuned in at all hours, with live translations flooding social media timelines mere seconds after he spoke. But this time, the translations weren't just about words, they were about emotions. Fans weren't simply reposting quotes. They were reliving their journeys, recalling the letters they wrote during enlistment, rewatching old FESTA clips from years ago, sharing screenshots of Jin's expression frame by frame as if trying to memorize every blink, every breath. A fan in Argentina tweeted, "I've waited 700 days for Jin to speak to us again, and somehow, it still feels unreal." He didn't just come back, he came back with purpose. He came back to guide us into the next era. In Paris, a group of armies held an all-night vigil in front of the Eiffel Tower, lighting purple lanterns and projecting 12 o'clock on the monument. In Jakarta, fans organized a FESTA-themed cafe event just hours after the video dropped, complete with Jin-themed drinks and J-Hope cupcakes. And in New York, the LED billboard in Times Square lit up purple with the words, "See you at 12 o'clock." Why would BTS and Big Hit choose 12 o'clock as the symbol of FESTA 2025? Why not something more obvious, like reunion or together again? Because this was never about stating the obvious. This was about conveying something deeper, something only ARMY would feel before they understood. Something spiritual in its timing. 12 o'clock is a turning point. It's the end and the beginning. It's the moment where everything resets. And after years of military service, global separation, and silent longing, this is BTS's reset. A full-circle moment. The exact second before the new era begins. Many fans pointed out that the hands of a clock at 12 are perfectly aligned. Just like the 7 members will be, once again. Just like the 7 souls that, though separated by duty, never drifted far in spirit. Major news outlets across the globe picked up the emotional resonance of Jin's speech. Not because it was flashy, but because it was real. CNN published an editorial titled, "At 12, the world stood still, and Jin made it move again." BBC News called it the most anticipated reunion in pop culture history. Rolling Stone ran a full feature titled, "From Reporter to Reunion, Jin's Return Signals a Cultural Reset." One journalist from The Guardian wrote, "BTS has always defied traditional comeback narratives. But what Jin did wasn't a comeback. It was a conversation. He didn't reappear, he returned." And that subtle difference is what made all the difference. When the FESTA announcement video first dropped, fans were surprised, but not confused, at Jin's choice of role. The comedic skit style wasn't new to BTS. But this was layered. Fans quickly recalled Jin's love for variety, acting, and storytelling. But there was something poetic in watching the eldest Hyung return not with a concert, but with a camera, a script, and a mic. He wasn't there to perform. He was there to announce. It's a role of responsibility, of trust, of presence. Being the first to come back, it carries weight, Jin admitted in a behind-the-scenes cut. "I wanted to say something that would make them feel not just excited, but safe, reassured." And that's exactly what he did. With clarity, with comfort, with conviction. He didn't shout his return. He reported it, with a calm smile, a steady voice, and an underlying warmth that can only come from someone who knows what you've been through. The venue for BTS FESTA 2025, Kintex in Goyang, is no ordinary arena. Known as Korea's largest convention and exhibition center, it holds symbolic significance. It's massive, modern, and historically associated with global unity events. But it's also intimate in a uniquely BTS way. For the group that once performed in tiny clubs and parking lots, this sprawling space isn't just about capacity. It's about connection. It's about making sure every fan who wants to witness this turning point can. Multiple stages.
Surprise corner.
Live stream extensions. Merch booths themed around 12 o'clock. Rumors of a special Letter to ARMY museum exhibit. But beyond the physical design, there's emotional architecture at play here. Jin hinted at this when he said, "When you step into Kintex that day, we want you to feel like you're stepping into our memories. While Big Hit has remained tight-lipped about the precise nature of the surprises awaiting fans at BTS FESTA 2025, Jin's knowing smile spoke volumes. What can ARMY expect?
Tears.
Reunions, surprises, confessions,
Milestones.
a first step into BTS's next 12 years. And possibly, just possibly, the sight of all seven together again, on stage at last. One cryptic line from J-Hope stood out near the end of the video. When the moment arrives, you'll know why we said, this isn't just a celebration. Fans are now speculating whether FESTA will include the debut of new music, a documentary series, or even a live performance of an unreleased song written during enlistment. One leak, unconfirmed, suggests that Jin recorded a solo piece titled Midnight Promise, rumored to be played exclusively at the event. Those were the last words flashed across the screen before the FESTA teaser ended. And perhaps that's the entire thesis of this journey. BTS didn't return because it was time. They returned because we waited. Because even in absence, love persisted. And now, as time aligns, we meet again, not as strangers or as fans, but as witnesses to a shared legacy. That's the question millions of ARMYs now whisper to themselves every day. What will they wear? What will they say? What will that first moment feel like? Will the lights go dark before they step on stage? Will Jin speak first? Or will they all stand in silence, letting the moment speak louder than words? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. The world will be watching. Not because it's a concert. Not because it's BTS. But because this is a story about waiting, returning, and remembering. This is the hour of promises kept. So mark your calendar. June 13th to 14th.
Kintex. 12 o'clock.
They're not just coming back. They're coming home.